Dave, two pretty important wins for your team, but obviously in very different fashions. Can you maybe just take us through these two? And I imagine you're just real happy to have 4 points.
Yeah, I mean, you're going into, we talk about every game being a playoff-style game, especially with Calgary. You know, there's a rivalry there, and we knew we were going to have to play well both games if we could get points out of it. Last night was a tight game. Tonight, our power play came through and got us a lead, and we were able to extend it a little bit. So it was good 4 points, and now we get a day of rest tomorrow, and we'll have a good practice Monday and get ready for next week.
When McDavid has a night like he did tonight, and he kind of shifts it into a different gear, what are some of the things you notice? How do you describe, I guess, what you're seeing and what he's able to do when he does that?
I don't know. There's just some nights the puck seems to follow him around, and when he has the puck, great things happen. So that was a little bit of the case tonight.
Jason Greger, TSN 1260.
Dave, you talked about early on this year that the commitment to defense, that was basically the whole message in the offseason. And you maybe didn't have the results you wanted early, but really here in the last 3 weeks, for the most part, you've really had a better commitment. What is it, just commitment, or is it decision making? What are you seeing that's leading to better overall team defense?
There's a couple things. Our goaltending has been better here lately with the two guys. You look at our save percentage is much higher the last couple of weeks. We're finally starting to get, there's a little bit of rhythm in your lineup. You got some injuries now, but you got some rhythm in your lineup where you're figuring out what people can do for you. And, your team just, as the season goes on, especially this year, no exhibition, your team has to grow. And there's, early in the year, there's lots of video, there's lots of growing to do. And I give our guys a ton of credit. They've embraced how we want to play as a team. We've tried to make sure we're trying to maximize our personnel, and they're turning into some results. But like I said the last few days, we've found some results, but there's more growth in this. Like we're gonna have to keep climbing the ladder here, and there's just parts of our game that can continue to improve if we want to become the team we really want to be.
Cuckoo's play didn't look good. He looked in discomfort right away. And then Yamamoto didn't return for the third period either. Any update on either one?
I haven't. Ken and I are going to meet with the doctors here in about 15 minutes to go through everything, so I haven't got an update yet.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Dave, when it comes to Connor, is there something, do you get a sense maybe during the day or before the game that he's just feeling it, he's going to have a big night? Is there any, does he have a tell, I guess, in that sense?
I don't know. He's so good every night. So I think there's some nights that, like I just mentioned, the puck seems to follow him around. He's around it a lot, and he just, when he's got it, he makes great plays. He can make stuff happen. And, there's some nights that it goes in for him. That's the one thing that was different tonight. He's been getting lots of chances and nothing going in the net for him. So he capitalized on chances tonight, and ends up looking like he had a better game, but he gets those kind of chances every night.
And the way that things are structured this year, and when you're playing divisional games only, how important is it to win, both sets of a back-to-back or 2 of 3 in order to kind of climb up the standings and not just have it be a wash every time you're playing in series?
We've talked about that. We've talked about that since the start, and especially the 2-game sets. When you go into them, if you can win the first one, it's like the second one is bonus points, and those are the points that are going to push you ahead into the playoff spot. Because if you lose the first one, you got to get those next 2 to get it even. But when you win the first one, those next ones, they become points that other teams aren't going to get. I would say by the end of the year, for the most part, you'll see more splits than you will see sweeps on the 2-game sets. And when you can get a sweep on the set, you're getting ahead of the game. Those are points that other teams are going to have a hard time getting. So we'll take them every time we can get them.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
Darnell Nurse, 30 minutes last night, 33 minutes tonight. 33 minutes for a defenseman is junior minutes. You can get your way through a game. 33 minutes in an NHL game is pretty impressive, say.
Especially on a back-to-back when he played
Yeah.
30 last night. But you lose Cuckoo. Cuckoo played 14 seconds in the game. So you lose Cuckoo early there. You got a young player in Bouchard, so you got there's lots of things to cover off in the game, especially when you're killing penalties. So hey, Nursey's an unbelievable athlete. I was bugging him today. He was getting some work done on his legs, and I said, just make sure there's another 30 in there tonight, and obviously there was.
And just one last one on Connor. When Gretzky played, he always paid attention to how Mario Lemieux was playing across the country. Do you think Connor pays any attention to how Austin Matthews is doing, racking up those goals?
That's a better question for Connor. I'm not sure.